Hello, hello, hello everyone. It's Brenda with Busy Bees Custom Creations. How's everyone doing tonight? Hope you guys are all doing well. Please say hello as you come in. Hey Janie, hey Leon, how are you? So tonight we're going to be making some bows, and I moved my camera because I thought kind of like an over the shoulder view like my girlfriend Kathy likes me to do. So I thought I would try it and see how it works out. So hopefully you guys will be able to see better and kind of get a good view. So I'm going to go ahead and switch the cameras. And this isn't going to be basically about a certain bow or how to make a bow or something like that. It's going to be more like the technique and stuff like that. So if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, and please go ahead and sign up for my emails and all that kind of good stuff, and please don't forget to share. So this is a Pro Bow the Hand. And this is just a regular large model. We're going to just be working on row B. The further out you go, the bigger your bow will be. Okay, so I'm just, for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to use row B, and we'll go from there. So how to make a certain bow, it's just going to be how to use your bow maker. And I think I've showed you guys before. What I tend to do is I make these little cheat sheet cards, right? And because you tend to kind of make the same bows over and over and over again, right? So what I do is I make these little cards, and basically they're bow recipes. And I watch videos, or I watch people do it. Hey Mel, hey Nicole. And I write down the recipes, right? Because we all tend to make the same bows. Like, we all kind of find our own bow, and we kind of like that bow and kind of stick to it, right? So that's what this box is. And I kind of do it by like the Pro Bow the Hand, the Easy Bow, the 4-in-1, those kind of things. So that's what I do. It works for me. And I kind of just write them down. I also, let me see if I can find one. I write down the recipes, but then on the Pro Bow the Hand, what I will do too is I will write out, like, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I will like kind of draw the bow maker and like say, okay, this is 2-inch ribbon, this is 2-inch ribbon, this is 3-inch, you know, whatever. And I'll kind of write down the recipes for it. Here's a good one. So this one is the Damon bow, right? Hope you guys can see that. So here's all my little pegs I wrote out, and I wrote out like, okay, 1.5 ribbon, 1.5 ribbon, 1.5 ribbon, 1.5 ribbon. And I also kind of wrote down like how many feet it uses of each. So when I kind of have to, you have to have my recipe box. Look, these are just so I can understand it, right? So Kathy was the one that said she wanted an over the shoulder view. Well, this is kind of as good as I can get. Thanks Mel. So that's what I do, and it really does help me because, like I said, you kind of make the same bows over and over again, right? At least I do. You kind of find a bow and you stick with it, and you move on. So, you know, so that's what I do, and that kind of helps me. So that's my little cheat sheet recipe box there. Oh, thanks, Leon. Alrighty, so you got your first dose today. Awesome. Yay, Debbie, congratulations. Everyone congratulate Debbie. She sold a lemon wreath. Awesome. Hello from Aruba. Hey, Mariska, how are you? So, those of you who aren't familiar, or maybe you are, with the Pro Bow the Hand. So there's row A, B, C, D, E, F, okay? And as you go up, each, like, so when you move from B to C, that's the bow will be an inch bigger. From C to D, an inch, an inch, an inch. Okay, so that's kind of that recipe. You got yours? Awesome. Okay, so then this here is called your fingers. So you have the center one here, and then first finger right, first finger left, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So I hope that kind of helps you. And this is right, and this is left. I'm doing good, thank you. So that's kind of how you do it. If you use row B, these are 5-inch loops, 6-inch loops, 7-inch loops, 8-inch loops, 9-inch loops. I usually use row B or C, but I do occasionally use D, and the F, I only use those for like tree topper bows or something like that. Oh, good, Peggy. So that's kind of the basics. Now these pegs I made a little bigger. I like my pegs longer. So I cut my own pegs. I think these are 6 inches. Yeah, I cut them 6 inches. I don't know. And, you know, sometimes they get a little loose, so I put some masking tape around them. I got to redo that. So, you know, you don't want them kind of loose in there. So I just kind of put a little piece of masking tape to kind of hold them into place. Okay, so that's what I do. Row A is more for like your hair bows and things like that. So I'm going to be demonstrating with pipe cleaners tonight. When you make your bows, you will not use pipe cleaners, but I'm going to show you how to do it with the pipe cleaners so that hopefully you understand how to do it a little better. But again, you would use wire. I use 26 gauge wire when I do it, or, you know, 24 gauge wire. But you want to, I'm just doing the pipe cleaners so you can see the wiring better, so hopefully you understand it a little better. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take 2 pipe cleaners and I'm going to twist them together. Okay, and that's, like I said, just for demonstration purposes. You will not use pipe cleaners when you do your bows. Okay, so like I said, it's just so you can kind of see the placement of the wires better and understand it a little better. So the first bow we're going to do is basically kind of like a terry bow, kind of, but I'm just kind of my version of it, so not really, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this, let me start with 1.5 inch. Let me start with this one. Okay, so now also when you use the Pro Bow, the hand, you're working from the top down. So this is your bottom of your bow, and you move up, and this is the very top of your bow. When you're working on the Pro Bow 4-in-1 or the Easy Bow, you're working from your bottom up. So with your Pro Bow, you work from your top down, and the other ones you work from your bottom up, if that makes sense. Does that make sense to you guys? Do you have any questions about that right now? Did I totally confuse you, or do you understand? Okay, so I'm going to take a 1.5 inch ribbon. So does anybody have any questions before we start making the bow? The bow, I always get close to the screen to see placement of the wire. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to dovetail the end. Okay, now this bow is going to have a loop and a tail for every peg. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, and this is just how I do it. Not everybody does it. Oh, good, Mel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the tail, right? I'm going to measure it out to whatever peg where the end is, okay? And for this one, I'm going to loop it around. And then I'm going to take my first, I'm going to gather it together. And I'm going to take my first pipe cleaner, or you would be using wire. And you're going to wrap it, or wrap it around the ribbon, okay? So you're going to make sure it's nice and tight. And again, with the pipe cleaners, I'm not going to get it real tight because you just can't. Okay, I'm going to wrap it around. Then I'm going to take the one that's on the right, and I'm going to wrap it around the peg. Okay. This is just your starter wire. That's all you do. You start your bows with it. I'm going to cut this off because we're just going to do 1 loop and 2 tails for every one. Okay, I'm going to put the tails up here. Then I'm going to take the other wire or pipe cleaner and put it around this little nail 1 time and then tuck it under. Now that is all you use that wire for. That's your starter wire. It basically just starts your bow, okay? So we've got our bow started. Now we don't touch that wire again until we're completely done with the bow. So then we take our second piece of wire. Again, you want to make your pieces of wire probably at least around 30 inches or so. This one isn't quite that long, but that's okay. So then you take your second piece of wire, you put it in between right here, okay? So you're going to put it in between where this is, okay? You're going to take it and pop it right down there. You're going to bring it to the right side of that peg. You're going to bring it to the back, and you're going to twist one time. And that's just basically to get that wire in place, okay? Does anybody have any questions about the bow so far? Do you have any questions about how to get your bow started, anything like that? Let me know what you think. So please feel free to ask questions as we go along, because I want you guys to understand how to do this. I'm just going to take all my pins out here while I'm waiting to see if any questions come in. No, the second wire is not around the peg. The second wire, you basically just bring it in between the two pegs, then to the right of the peg and to the back. So the second wire is what's called your helping hand wire. And basically that's going to help you hold the ribbons onto your bow maker, okay? So then we're going to use, I think we're going to use this one. Okay, so then we're going to take, so please ask questions as we go, because like I said, I want you guys to really understand this. Excuse me. And we're going to do the same thing, okay? We're going to measure it out to the end of that peg. Yes, absolutely. You can just save this video, share this video, and then you will have it. So now what we do, measure out to that peg. You're going to gather it together, okay? Then you're going to take this tail and you're going to put it between the middle peg and peg 1L, all right? Then you're going to place it here in the back of this peg. You're going to pull this wire down, this wire up, and twist. And that's going to tie that wire, hey Pat, that's going to tie that wire into your bow. Okay, so now basically you don't have to hold on to it. So then you're going to take this and you're going to put it around 1R. So the first, hey Audrey, how are you? The first loop, okay? Then what I do is I put my finger here and I put it flat. I put the ribbon on top of the finger. I put my thumb there and I gather, okay? Then once you gather, you twist it so that if it does have a right side and a wrong side, you would twist the correct side forward. So you want your pretty ribbon facing to the front of your bow maker. Hey Kristen, how are you? Then we're going to take this loop and we're going to put it around finger number 1L, okay? So now you have one loop here, one loop here. You're going to, again, put your finger flat, grab it with your thumb, and pull it together, okay? Then you're going to twist, and then you're going to tie that one off, okay? And you just want to twist one time. Then you're going to take this, and you're going to measure it out to your peg, and cut that off. So now what we have is we have the center loop with one loop and two tails, and here we have a tail, a loop, a tail, a loop, okay? Hey Dora, how are you? And you just really repeat this process over and over again. So now we're going to use this solid yellow. And I just like to start out with my 1.5s. Hey Ann, how are you, girlfriend? So again, we're going to measure out to that B peg. We're going to gather it together. We're going to stick the tail between 1L and 2L. We're going to pinch it here and we're going to pull this wire down, this wire up and twist one time, and then we're going to take this and we're going to put it around finger 2R. Hey Connie. Okay, put your finger flat, grab it with your thumb, gather it together and twist, and then I just put my thumb there to kind of hold it in place, and then take this and loop it around 2L. Then you can let go, put your finger down, gather it together and twist, and then this wire goes down, this wire goes up, and we twist it one time. Then we're going to measure it out to this tail or this peg again, and I put my scissors against the peg and then just cut at an angle. All right, and then this tail goes up. Anybody have any questions? All right, so now we're going to move on to our 2.5 inch ribbon, and hey Alberta, how are you? We're going to dovetail the end, and we're just going to do the same thing. Okay, and again, these pipe cleaners are just for visual, so you guys can really understand how this works. Oh, good, Terry. So, like I said, you would use the floral wire. You wouldn't use pipe cleaners because it's just not going to hold your bow tight enough. Measure out to that peg. Gather it together. Now here you're going to be able to see it because this has a pattern on one side, and then so there's a right side and there's a wrong side to this ribbon. So this you'll see a little better. Oh, absolutely. Yep. I'm going to show you that next. I'm just showing you this one where it's it's all a bunch of loops and bows, or loops and tails. The next one I'll show you to use, I'll just use one ribbon and we'll do the whole bow with just one ribbon. So we're going to gather it together. Okay, you're going to put your tail in between 2 and 3. You're going to place it, okay, and your pretty side of your ribbon is facing the front. You're going to pull that one down, this one up, pull it tight, and twist one time. It took me a long time, Pat. Then take your ribbon, loop it around, okay? Put your finger flat, gather it together, okay, and twist. Now what the twisting does is it brings that pretty side face towards the front of your bow maker. You're going to put that around there, put your finger flat, gather it together, twist, pull this wire down, this wire up, and twist. In fact, Muriel, I'll show you. This one will do 2 loops, okay? So we're going to continue on with the same. So we'll just do the next peg, okay? So we'll just gather it and twist and put it on this loop here. Gather it together and twist. Bring that wire down, this wire up, and twist. Okay, then I'm going to cut this one off. So that's how you would do it, Muriel, if you're, using it. But I will show you the next one. I'll show you how to do it with just one ribbon so you can see. Okay. All right, so next we're going to switch. Do we have to use the wire every loop? On this bow you do. On the next one I'll show you, you do not have to use it on every loop, but that's a great question. If you feel comfortable not using it, you don't have to. But with this bow, when you're switching out every time, you would have to. So we're going to measure it, gather it together, make sure the pretty side of your ribbon is facing towards the front. You're going to tie this one off. Okay, twist, do your loop, okay, put your finger flat, gather it together, and twist. If you guys would please share this video, I would much appreciate it. Okay, and then gather it together and twist, and then tie it off. All right, and then again I put my scissors on against that peg and I cut. All right, and then we are on the last ribbon for this bow. Isn't this pretty? And this is all Sam's ribbon except for this one and the other one, the 1.5 like that. This is Michael's. Okay, so again we're going to measure out. We're going to gather it together. Again, the pretty side of the ribbon is facing front. Yes, this is 26 gauge wire. Now if you find you're breaking the wire, like if it's too thin, you can use 24 or 22. It's totally up to you. And twist. I usually do use 22 or 24. For some reason I have 26, but that's okay. But usually, you know, whatever you're comfortable with. If you find you're breaking the 26 gauge wire when you're pulling it, then move to the 24 or the 22. Okay, gather it, twist. Okay. Put your finger flat, grab it together, twist, and pull it tight. All right, and then you're going to cut that off. Okay, now, mine is a little wonky, but what I want you to notice too is you see this row here. This should be relatively straight. Now when you're first starting out, it does get a little wonky. It goes from side to side, but it's pretty straight, right? You want to try and keep that wire as straight as you can get it. The straighter you can, no, the higher the number, the thinner the wire on the floral wire. So the 26 gauge is a very thin wire, the 24 is a little thicker, and on and on and on. So yeah, it's actually opposite. It's you kind of have to get your brain around that. I know it took me a while to figure that out. So you kind of want to keep this as straight as you can, okay? Like, let me see if I have. I think these might all be, okay, this is a 24. So this is a little thicker of a wire than the 26. Now obviously one's green and one's silver, but you might even be able to see that that is a little thicker than the silver. Can you guys see that? I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it definitely is thicker as you go down in number. Okay, so now what I do is I take my helping hand wires and I twist them together. Yes, exactly. So this is just something I do. I think it helps to strengthen your wire. I don't know why, I've just always done this. Okay, so I take the helping hand wire and I twist that together. Okay, now you take your wire, your starter wire, and you take it off of that needle, and you take the starter wire off here. Now, when you unwind it, do you see how it's still to the right of this peg? You want to make sure you get it away from that peg. Okay, you want to make sure, just stick your finger down there and make sure you don't have any wire around it. All right, that's very important. Then what you'll do is you'll take that and this and you'll pull it as tight as you can get it. Okay, so as tight as you can get that one, and then I twist those two together. That's just kind of how I've always done it. I don't know why. Okay, so does anybody have any questions so far about that? And then what you do is you can take this middle peg out and your bow will pull right off. And then I know it's because this is, I'm using pipe cleaners, your bow should be stacked. This one is up a little bit, but it should be stacked like right on top of each other like that, okay? So then what I will do is I will take my fluff box here, and what you want to do is you'll have an eye hook and a nail, and you'll take your bow, you'll take your wires, you'll lay it flat, and then you'll pull your bow up so it's standing up, and then you'll wrap your wire around the nail one time, okay? Then what you do is you really just start fluffing your bow, okay? And now it might get a little loose because I'm using the pipe cleaner, but normally you can really yank on that, and don't worry about you know, it coming loose, because if you use wire it should be nice and tight. The pipe cleaners aren't very tight, so it might kind of slip out a little bit. So what I do is I'll put a tail here, a loop here, kind of opposite each other, and then this one, a tail here, a loop here, tail here, loop here, and kind of go back and forth. And then what you want to do is kind of grab it from the base and curl it up like that. And then we have that other loop there. Okay, and kind of just to make that ribbon curl, just grab it at the base and kind of just do that, and it'll curl really nicely. Okay, I'm going to put this tail, this loop here, this one here. I know, I love my fluff box. Okay, and then that tail and that little center button loop right there. So that's half the bow fluffed. Okay, and we're going to turn our fluff box around. Now where this one is on this side, I'm going to take the sunflower one and I'm going to pull it down here, because we don't want the same, like we wouldn't want two next to each other. So then I'll pull the sunflower ribbon up here. Then I'll take this tail and put that up here, and just go kind of go back and forth. Okay, pull this tail here. So you kind of just want to go opposite each way. Okay, and then I have our little loop there. Okay, and then you just want to take it off of that, and there's your bow. Okay, does anybody have any questions? And then of course you always want to fluff more, but you know, you just kind of open up those loops. Okay, so now I'll do a ribbon with just one ribbon, or I'll do a bow with just one ribbon, so that you guys can see how you do it if you're just using one or two ribbons. Okay, does anybody have any questions before we move on? And do you want me to use the wire this time so you really see how the wire works? I think I will. Yes, I know. It just takes practice, you guys. It really does. Trust me, I didn't just... It took me a long time to get this. It really did. Okay. All right. So we'll use this one. Okay, so this time we're just going to use the one, let me use this one because this one's done. And I'm going to cut my wire to about, I don't know, about 28 to 30 inches. That's kind of the length I like to use, and you're going to cut two pieces. Okay, and you cut, so you cut one, and then just kind of fold it in half. It's getting towards the end of the roll, so it's kind of really, whew. Okay. All right, so there's our second piece. It's really twisty. Okay, so then I just take it and fold it in half. All right, so there's our two pieces of wire. So now what I'm going to do is this one, I'm going to do it a little differently because we're just going to use one ribbon the whole way. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to gather it together. Okay, I'm going to take my first wire, okay, and you're going to put it around that piece of ribbon, and you're just going to wrap it around there a couple times nice and tight. Okay, you can see that? Then you want one wire up, one wire down. Okay, I'm going to take it, wrap it around the peg. I'm going to take that piece that's wired, twist it around the peg. You're going to take the wire that's up and you're going to go clockwise to the right around the peg. Okay, and again, this is just your starter wire. That's all it's for. That's all you use it for. Then you take your bottom wire and you wrap it around this nail one time and then slide it underneath your board. Okay, then you take this and again you do the same thing, kind of wrap that around there. Do the same thing. You take your finger, you gather it together, you twist, and you put it on the first one. Okay, now see, you don't have to hold it when you do this. All right, so now I'm going to take my second wire and I'm going to again place it in. I'm going to take it and place it in between these two pegs. Okay, so I'm going to feed it through. Hey, Dawn! And I'm going to bring it to the right. Remember, you take it to the right of that peg. Make sure it doesn't get wrapped around any other peg. And then bring it to the back, to the very back. And then you're going to pull the top wire down, the bottom wire up. Pull it as tight as you can and twist one time. Now be careful you don't poke yourself in the eye with this wire because that can happen. So now, as you notice, you don't have to hold on to that ribbon. So I just flatten my my finger, gather it together, twist, pull some ribbon out and pull it tight. Okay, again, you don't have to hold it. Now if you feel comfortable leaving it, you don't have to twist every time because the bow maker is doing the work for you. So now you can do it every couple times or every time, whatever you feel comfortable with. But as you can see, I'm not holding it and it's staying in place. Okay, the bow maker is doing the work for you. So again, I just put my finger flat there, I gather it together and twist and then loop it. Okay, so now if it starts to get bunchy in here and you want to tie it, just bring that one down, this one up, pull as tight as you can get it and twist. Okay, so maybe every couple you tie it off, but you don't have to tie it off every time. It's totally up to you, however you feel comfortable. All right, so you're just going to keep doing that same motion if you're just using the one ribbon and just going back and forth. Okay, so see, it's holding it. You don't have to, but if you feel like it's getting bunchy and it may slide on you, then just go ahead and tie it off. All right, and just, there you go. Okay, again, put your finger flat, gather it together, twist, and loop it. And it does help if you kind of have some ribbon pulled out. And again, you're just doing the same motion over and over again, twist. Okay, so now it's starting to get pretty thick in there, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it. And you want to try to keep that wire in the center. Remember I showed you that line there? Okay, and then we're just going to finish off the bow. So gather it together and twist. The next finger, gather it together and twist. Okay, gather it together. See, if it starts to slip on you, just go ahead and tie it off. Okay, twist. We have one more here. And twist. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and tie this off. Remember, you want to pull that one down, this one up, and twist as hard as you can. Now, right now, we wouldn't have any tails on it, or we just have one tail, right? So what I'm going to do to make 2 tails, or if you want to do 3 or 4 or whatever you want to do, just twist it. Get your tail length of what you want it, and just bring this up and gather it together. So say we're going to do 3 tails, okay? I'm going to pull this down, pull this up, pull it as tight as you can get it, and twist, okay? So I'm pretty much done with that now, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. So see, we're going to have 3 loops here. Okay, so now this is my helping hand wire. We're done with the wire. So I like to twist my, whoops, I untwisted it. I like to twist my helping hand wires together. It's just a preference I have. Some people cut them off. Some people, you know, just leave them separate. I like to twist mine together. Do you guys have any questions so far? And it really just all is, it's all about practice and just really doing it over and over and over again. And this Sam's ribbon is great to practice with. I mean, it's good ribbon, but it's not, you know, really, really expensive. You wouldn't want to use your, you know, $7 for 10-yard roll to practice with this. Okay, so then we're going to take this off of the center peg. Again, you want to make sure, I always kind of stick my finger down there to make sure I've got it all off, and I do, I think. Okay, and then you want to take that one off of the nail, and then you're going to take these 2, and you're going to pull as tight as you can get them, and twist. And be careful, because you can cut your hands with this wire. Okay, and then I twist those 2 together. And again, that's just a preference that I have. If you don't like to do that, you don't have to. I just, that way the wire is stronger. And this is a little curly on the end from putting it around there, so I'm just going to cut that off. Okay, then I'm going to pull this center peg out to get my bow off. Now, can you see how nice and stacked that is and how neat it is? See? Using that one. So then what we're going to do, we're going to get our, get this out of the way, and get our fluff box, and we're going to take our, let me start from this way, take our bow, lay it down, put it on that, stand it up, and then wrap it one time around there, okay? And this, I'm going to have all 3 tails going the same direction. Okay, and then we're going to fluff. We're just going to pull one up, one back, one in the center, one up, one down, and one in the center. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, and again, you see how I'm really, really tugging on that? And you can do that when you have the wire, because it does hold it in there nice and tight. Okay, and I'm really manipulating that ribbon to where I want it to be. Okay, and then we have our little center loop there. Take it off, and there you go. Okay, so that's just using one ribbon. And you can add more than 3 tails. You can totally, you know, add as many as you want. It's totally up to you. Okay, so that's that. You guys have any questions so far? Whoops, sorry. Any questions? Should we do another bow on here, or do you want to do the 4-in-1? What do you think? Another one on here? Or should we do one bow on the 4-in-1? So this was our first bow, where we kind of did a lot of loops and tails. And the second, oh, thank you, Dawn. The second one was just a 1 ribbon bow. Okay. The 4-in-1, okay. Four-in-one. All right. Well, I have my ribbon on my 4-in-1, so let me get my ribbon off here. Okay. Whoa. A 4-in-1. Okay. Now this is basically the same as an easy bow. Thanks, Dora. It's the exact same as your easy bow maker. Okay. The only difference on this one from the regular Pro Bow is on this type of bow maker, you're building from the bottom to the top, okay? With the Pro Bow the hand, you're building from the top down. With here, you're building from the bottom up, all right? So let's make, should we make the same bow on this maker so you can see that you can do any bow on here, the same as you can do it on there? So now when we did the, sorry, watch my head. When we did the bow on the Pro Bow the hand, let me show you that again real quick, just so you can see. So when we did that, here you're going a 1/2 inch shorter each loop, right? So what you want to do, let me get my tape measure. So like this, from the center to here is about 5 inches, right? All going to be a little less, like a 1/2 inch less, right? But the first one is about 5, and then 4.5, things like that, okay? So we're going to basically make the same bow, kind of. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with a tail. This is your 0, 1 to 9. We'll do a 9-inch tail. And you're going to gather it and make your tail. So now, being that this was 5 inches, right? Do you have a round ring on the bottom? Yeah, I have a, yep, like a gasket, like a Lazy Susan I bought from Lowe's, yep. Okay, so we're going to go out to the 5. We're going to measure that right there to the 5. Put it in our, between our 2 center pegs, measure out to the 5 here. Stick it in there, okay. Then you're going to twist. Remember, because to get the pretty side up. All right, then we're going to go in like a 1/2 inch. So this would be 4R on here. Look at that. Okay, so we're going to go into about 4.5, right between 4.5 and 5. So you see, we're just going in a little bit there, pulling it out and twist it. And do the same thing on this. I'm not going to worry about it because these are practice bows. We're going to go out to about the 4.5. Oh, look at that, right in the center. That's perfect. Okay, twist. Okay, then we're going to go to about the 4. So you're just going in just slightly each time on this bow. And twist. Now, if you have a ribbon that is the same on both sides, you don't have to twist it when you do this, but I do anyway, just to kind of keep myself straight. You know what I mean? Like, because if you start not twisting and twisting, sometimes you can get confused. So again, we're going to bring it in just slightly, put it in and twist. So this would be finger 5, 6, 5, 4. Okay, so this would be finger 3. I do, but Janie, it's totally like whatever works for you. If you find it works better to twist away from you, then by all means do that. I kind of twist it towards me. So you can see how each one is just going in a little bit more. Just slightly. So here's finger 6, 5, 4, 3. And then I'm going to twist. Yeah, it just basically works towards whatever you find more comfortable. If you find it more comfortable twisting away, then by all means do it. Okay, again, we're just going to bring it in slightly. So again, there's finger 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay. And twist. Oh, you're welcome. And then the last one would be finger 1. Again, you're just going to bring it in slightly. Okay, and then you have that little center loop, right? So just a tiny little center loop. And you don't do the loop on both sides. All right, and then we're going to cut that off. It really is just what works for you, Janie. Okay, now with this you'll notice that your tails are on the same side. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our zip tie, and I always take it to the left and make sure you have it under all of that ribbon. Oop, where'd it go? Okay, there it is. And you're going to tighten it, but not tight all the way, because you want to be able to move that around. Get this out of the way. Okay. Then you are going to use a pipe cleaner. I do use a pipe cleaner for this. Okay, you're going to pull your bow off. And then you see where this indent is right here? That's where the pegs were. So you're going to slide that over to where those indents is, and then pull it to the back of your bow. Okay. Straighten that out a little bit. Okay, you're going to push it down, put your pipe cleaner through it, and then tighten it. Not tighten it all the way, because you want to be able to still move these loops. You're going to grab your pipe cleaners and your zip tie, and now we're going to fluff out our bow just like we did on the fluff box. Okay, kind of break it, bring this one this way. Yeah, it's totally like you'll find your own rhythm, Janie, as you make them more. So don't worry about, you know, being exact or anything like that. You'll find your own rhythm. Okay, bring that one up. And then bring this one down. And all I'm doing is I'm twisting to kind of break that hard twist in there. Okay. And sometimes I like to use 2 hands to do it. And then we have that little center button loop in there. Now we're going to go to the other side. Kind of what Lori calls breaking the bow. Bring this one here. And like I said, don't be afraid to really yank on that and get them where you want them to be. Okay, we're going to pull this one down here. This one here. Okay, and then that one. Now, I just like the look of the Pro Bow. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what you guys think. I don't like how that's up top like that, but you see when you do that little button loop, you kind of have that. So now let me show you. So this is the 4-in-1. and this is the Pro bow. So they look pretty similar, except for here. You see how the tails are on the bottom? Hey, Lois. And here that one tail is on the top, which, you know, I don't really care for, but that's what you get when you make that one with that little button. So see, they're very similar bows. They're made you know, they're the exact same bow. It's just one is made on the Pro bow and one is made on the 4-in-1. Okay? And then you would do the same thing with the other bow, right? The other bow, you had 2 loops and 2 tails. So it's the same exact thing with this bow. Okay, I'm just going to put that there for a reference because we did the sunflower first. And again, you just got, yeah, I don't like that on the top either. But that's what you get when you make them like that. Okay, so we're going to do a little tail. We're going to gather it together. Okay, now remember with this bow, yes, absolutely, Joyce. It's totally which bow maker you like better. When I was first starting out, I only used the Pro bow by hand. That was just the one that I understood the best. I didn't like the 4-in-1. Well, they didn't have the 4-in-1 when I first started, but I didn't like the easy bow. I didn't like, I don't know, I just couldn't get the hang of them. But for me, the Pro bow, the hand, totally made sense. And I'm not saying that I got it, but with practice, I really liked the Pro bow, the hand, the best. And then once I got making bows and I really understood how to make them and I felt comfortable making, now I can do them on any bow maker pretty much, you know. So you're just going to do the same exact thing. So this is going to be your 5-inch loop. And remember, on this bow we have 2 loops and 2 bows. So you just basically do, with the 4-in-1, you just basically do 1 loop and 2 tails on each ribbon that you're using. Okay, so I'm going to measure these out to 5. Cut that off. Okay, then I think we used this one. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, it's just totally whatever one works for you. Okay, it really is. It's totally whichever one you find that you're the most comfortable with. Okay, so again, we're just going to move this in just a hair. But we're making it the same way. But remember, the Pro bow 4-in-1, you're building from the bottom up. With the Pro bow, the hand, you build from the top down. So you kind of have to think of that when you're making your bow. Okay, then I think we used this one. So I just want you guys to see that it really doesn't matter which bow maker you use or if you do them by hand. It's whatever one you really feel comfortable with. Just going to measure out the tail, put that in, twist. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this has kind of helped you guys to understand your bow makers a little better. You just kind of have to find the one that you feel the most comfortable with. Although I mean, I still like the Pro bow the hand. I just really like the way they come out, but I do tend to use the 4-in-1 the most now. Okay. No. No, you totally do not. You honestly, whichever one you find works the best for you, that you're the most comfortable with, honestly, that's all it is. It really is just as simple as that. But you kind of have to, you kind of have to find your bow maker. Oh, you're welcome, Helen. So again, we're just going to keep stacking these on top, going a little, just a tiny bit in, a little further. Okay, one loop, you know, on each side and one tail on each side. Okay. And then we're going to use the 1.5. I like teaching how to make bows. I enjoy making bows now. Trust me, when I first started, I hated bows with a passion. I can't tell you how much I hated bows. I just felt like I was never going to get it. I was never going to understand how to make them. And so I really struggled as well. So I want to help people and say you will get it. It does just take time, but honestly, you will get it. It's just a matter of practice, practice, practice. And I know that's, you know, you want to learn how to make it and you want to do it now, but honestly, it really is just finding the one that works for you and the one that you understand the most. You're coming to my house. Come on. Okay, and then this is the last one. And we're just having that little center loop. And again, with this bow maker, they're both on one side, which I just don't like. Hey, Susie Brown. Oh, that reminds me. I did put it in my post, and I did put it in my email. I hope you guys saw that Susie is having a sale. It is in my comments, and I did put, I did a story on it as well. So go grab your mesh holder, which I could not do life without, and your glue gun holder. Okay, remember, so we're getting underneath all of them, twisting, using the wrong account again. What do you mean? I'm using the wrong account? And the 4-in-1, could you take one long piece of ribbon and put on the first for your tails and then make each of your, yes, absolutely, yep. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Okay, remember, you're going to bring it over to where that indent is, tighten it up, pull it to the back, get your pipe cleaner. Oh, you're using the wrong account. Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm telling you, I struggled with bows, you guys. I'm telling you I did. I hated bows. I hated making bows. Oh, okay. I was like, did I use the wrong account? What did I do, Susie? Okay, again, we're going to pull our tail down, our loop up. On this other side, we're going to pull our loop, our tail up, our loop down. Okay, so we're kind of doing it the same way as we did with the fluff box. We're just doing it by hand this time. I think my tails are a little longer on this one. Pulling that tail up, this tail down. Okay, and then this one up. Okay, and then that little center button loop there. And remember, if you want this to curl, just grab it at the bottom and just really do that with your hands, okay? Is that a recipe box for how to make? Yes, it is. That's my bow recipe box. It sure is. Because, you know, if you don't use the bows, you know, the certain bows, you kind of forget how to make them, right? We always kind of tend to go back to the same old, at least I do, the same old recipe, the same old bow. So I have my recipe box for my bows because when you don't make them all the time, you forget what your recipe for them. So yes, I have a recipe box for my bows. I know, I'm silly. Okay, we're going to pull this tail up this way and our loop down. Okay. And then there's our little center one, and then tighten it up and cut that off. Okay, so now there is our bow, and I don't know, I think it just fluffs better and it looks better with the 4-in-1. Well, I do, Susie. I know, I'm just that weird. But I do. I have a recipe box. Now, these tails are really long, so I really, I would cut some of these down. Okay, so now there's our bow made on the Pro Bow the hand. It just turns out a little nicer. I love the 4-in-1, but this bow is a little more, what do I want to say, tight and in place. Like, you see how all the tails are the same size? Like, my tails are just out of control. So, you know, you definitely want to cut them down like that is. Thanks, Susie. So, you know, I mean, it's just like you're a little more exact, I think, is what I want to say, when you use the Pro Bow than when you just kind of wing it on the 4-in-1, right? At least I am. It's a little more uniformed, it's a little more stacked, but really it's the same bow, and you can just do it on different ones. Oh, thanks, Sandra. Yeah, you know, it really does help because you forget. Like, you tend to, like, stick to one bow for a while, and then you move on to another one, right? At least I do. So you kind of forget how you make them. So I really pay attention, and I stop the video, write it down, stop the video, write it down. So I kind of really know how to make the bows. And then you kind of, like, even change the recipe to your way of making the bow, right? At least I do. Okay, so I'm just going through, cutting these down so it looks a little more uniformed like that one. Then it'll probably look more the same, but these had crazy hair day. Okay, there we go. So now that looks a little more like this one, okay? The tails aren't as crazy, but it really does. So I'm just trying to show you guys that it doesn't really matter what bow maker you use. Just use one and find which one works for you. Find which one you like the best. Do you guys have any questions? I hope this was helpful. I really do. I hope this was helpful. So, see, I mean, I think they look pretty similar, right? This one might even look better now. So that's what I do. For those of you who just came in, I have, oh, that's a great idea, but I do. Because what I do also is, see, like this one, this is the Damon bow. I even write, I'll draw the pegs out. Because when I was first learning, you know, you're confused. So what I did was I wrote out the board, and I would write what size ribbon goes and how you work it. So, you know, row this, row this, row this. And so it helped me to kind of have that recipe in front of me as I did it. And I wrote them down for the easy bow maker ones, you know, the terry bow, the single bow, the tree topper bow. That was just my way of kind of saying, okay, that's how I do it. So this is my bow recipe box. But yeah, so. Oh, and I'm so excited. I did 2 videos for while I'm gone next week, because you guys know I'm going to Nashville. I'm going to Indiana first to see my sister. And then, how many recipes do I have? let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, probably 15 or 20 different ones. Something like that. So I did some tutorials. So this tutorial, you guys will see next Thursday night. I made this tulip wreath on a grapevine cross and with this beautiful bow. So this is going to be next Thursday. And then next Monday I did, oops, let's see if I can get this off. Probably not. Wait till you see this. I love this, guys. It turned out so good. I decided to do florals for you guys. So this one will be next Monday. Look at the cute little bunny in there holding the welcome sign. Isn't that cute? So this is next Monday coming up. And then that's next Thursday. So I was super excited about those. They turned out really good. And I hope you guys liked that. Oh, and then go check out, I have a bunch of new sign and ribbon combos in my shop. Let me show these to you guys. So this is the cow. Like I did the red cow the other night, but I have the blue cow with the blue ribbon. So I have that kit. Look at this one. Oh my goodness. I have the unicorn with the unicorn ribbon. Then I have the mermaid wishes. I wish I had little girls to make these for. So the mermaid wishes to match. And then I have, so these are all in my shop right now. Oh, and the Easter gnome kit, there's only 4 left. So if you wanted one, go grab it now. And look at this, the heroes with the nurse's ribbon. Isn't that awesome? And then I have this butterfly one with the butterfly ribbon. And then the last one, I love this one, my beach one. So Life is a Beach with the beach ribbon and the stripe to match. So these are all in my Etsy shop. And if you guys need signs or anything like that, the last I'll be processing is this Saturday because I'm leaving Sunday morning. And then I won't do orders again until the following week. So I won't be home till the 14th. So from the 7th to the 14th, I will not be shipping out any orders. But I will get them, but I won't do them until I get home on probably the 15th and 16th. So if you need something right away, please order them tonight. And I will get them out tomorrow and Saturday, but then I won't ship out for another 8 or 9 days. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I hope that these bow tutorials helped. I hope you learned something. And send me some pictures of your bows. So practice those bows. Go get some ribbon from the Dollar Tree or from Sam's and really practice making the bows. And save this video so that you can go back and look on it and kind of watch it at your own pace. I tried to do it a little slower so you guys could get it, but I hope that helped. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, you guys, and take care, and I will see you on the 15th. I'll be back live on the 15th. But like I said, I did do those 2 tutorials, and I'm excited about those. So, oh, thanks, Susie. All right, guys, and don't forget, go get your mesh roller and your glue gun holder because I couldn't do my business without them. I love them. All right, guys, love you all. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you live back on the 15th. Thanks, guys. Bye.